considers himself as part and parcel of the security arrangement, I think success would have been achieved even before we embark on the project. So I want to assure you that Nassau State will support you, will collaborate with you to ensure the success of police, community policing.
Governor Al-Mukura congratulates the acting IGP and assures him of support by the state government. In Lafia, Joshua Ojito, NTA News.
To electoral matters, the Independent National Electoral Commission, INEC, says contrary to alleged insinuations about fresh elections, the commission will only undertake collation of results from 6 council areas apart from Abua, Odua, where supplementary elections will hold. The National Commissioner in charge of Edo, Bayelsa and Rivers, May Agbamuche Umbu, made this known at a stakeholders meeting in Port Harcourt. Robinson Deratede has the report.
The enlarged stakeholders meeting had in attendance political party chieftains, candidates, security agencies, religious leaders and NGOs. INEC at the meeting maintained that it has the results of 17 local government areas in its custody, stressing that it will only resume collation in 5 local government areas of Ahuda West, Asare Toro, Degema, Gokana and Kana between 2nd to 5th of April. The commission noted that elections did not take place in Abua Hodua local government area.
This is a new slate and we're going to start again. And when I say start again, we're going to do it openly. You're all going to be there to see and make your comments. To allow those who have any genuine comments to make, will allow them to do so.
Stakeholders, including the governor of Rivers State, Yoson Wike, urged INEC to announce the results of the 17 local government areas and be transparent in the collation process.
Maintain the openness, maintain the transparency. The church has prayed, but we need peace. We Muslims will ask and demand for peace.
The candidate of the African Action Congress, AAC, Biokpamabo Awara, however, expressed dissatisfaction with INEC's position, citing an ongoing court case on the matter as reason the process should not continue. INEC further assured the stakeholders of the safety of the materials and results in their custody, noting that they have not been tampered with. In Port Harcourt, Robinson Deratede, NTA News.
You're watching the news on NTA International. Time for a break. More news afterwards. Stay with us.
NTA International News. Africa as it is.
The Minister of Defense, Mansour Ali, said Nigeria has recorded significant achievements in the fight against terrorism and is in the process of demining affected areas and rebuilding communities. The minister presented Nigeria's statement at the United Nations Peacekeeping Ministerial on Uniformed Capabilities, Performance and Protection of Civilians at the United Nations headquarters in New York. The minister also announced that Nigeria has put in place adequate measures in enhancing the performance of its troops and protection of civilians during peacekeeping operations. These include effective pre-deployment and immersion training for troops, zero tolerance to sexual exploitation and abuse. He explained that Nigeria's participation in UN peacekeeping has declined significantly recently. Of recent, mainly due to her commitment to the war on insurgency in the northeastern part of the country and sub-regional peacekeeping commitments. In spite of this, however, the minister assured the meeting that Nigeria will continue to play its role in supporting the United Nations and other stakeholders to achieve international peace and security. of people are voting in Turkey's local elections, which are widely seen as a referendum on President Recep Tayyip Erdogan. The poll comes amidst an economic downturn, with the governing AK party fearing it could lose control of Ankara in Istanbul, Turkey's biggest city. More than 57 million voters will elect mayors and councillors across Turkey. President Erdogan has said the poll is about the survival of a country and its Justice and Development Party, AKP, which has dominated politics for 16 years. This will be the first municipal vote since President Erdogan assumed sweeping executive powers through last year's presidential election. North Korea has described a break in its embassy in Spain last month as a grave terrorist attack. Now, for the news that made headlines in the last week, let's join Ilyasu Ali Yakubu for the Word in 6 days segment of the news.
Thanks for joining me on another week's edition of World in 6 Days. Ebola has made a recent reappearance in the Democratic Republic of Congo. The outbreak occurred in the Bikoro region in the northern Equator province, which falls within areas deemed highly favorable for an outbreak of the disease. It claimed 19 lives, including those of 3 health workers, according to the World Health Organizations. This is the DR Congo's 9th Ebola outbreak since 1976, the highest tally of any single nation. Still in the week under review, New Zealand's Prime Minister Jacinda Ardern has ordered a top-level inquiry into the Christchurch mosque attacks that left 50 people dead. She said a royal commission will examine whether police and intelligence services could have done more to prevent the 15 March shootings. A royal commission is the highest level of independent inquiry available under New Zealand's law. A second cyclone within 48 hours brought destructive winds and torrential rains to coastal regions of Australia. Cyclone Veronica lingered about 95 kilometers, 60 miles off the nation's northwest coast on Monday. Heavy rain and large waves whipped up by Cyclone Veronica threatened to cause widespread flooding in Western Australia, according to authorities. The investigation led by Robert Mueller found no evidence that President Donald Trump or any of his aides coordinated with the Russian government's 2016 election interference. According to a summary of the special counsel's key findings made public by Attorney General William Barr, Mr. Mueller, who spent nearly 2 years investigating Moscow's determined effort to sabotage the last presidential election, found no conspiracy, despite multiple offers from Russia-affiliated individuals to assist the Trump campaign, Mr. Barr wrote in a letter to lawmakers. Cholera broke out in Mozambique 2 weeks after a massive cyclone swept much of the center of the southern African country. Authorities are battling to keep the disease from spreading. The first